Right Networks helps you securely transition your accounting-based desktop applications into the cloud, regardless of which version you're using. As a partner, you can trust Right Networks will take away the burden of IT so you have more time to focus on your business, more time to drive your profitability. And this makes keeping close track of your finances and operations so much easier. Work from anywhere, anytime with your favorite desktop applications. The Right Networks support team is there around the clock waiting for you. How do you get hold of them? It's real simple. Go to rightnetworks.com. That's RIGHT, networks.com. Or if you want to do it old school, pick up the phone. Dial 888-417-4448. Dial extension 1. Tell them that Ron and Mike sent you over. All right, Ron. Now it's time to kick things off, baby.
And today, right here, right now, this is the moment that you will finally say,
I'm growing my accounting practice!
Episode 112.
There we go, baby.
Wow. Awesome. And welcome, everyone. I'm Ron Saharian, co-founder of Profit First Professionals.
And I'm Mike Michalowicz, the author of Profit First. I want to welcome you to my favorite podcast. It's called GMAP. Stands for Grow My Accounting Practice. And this is a show where we teach you the step-by-step how to grow your bookkeeping or accounting practice. And we give it to you from vantage points sometimes that you never expected. This is going to happen today. Oh, that ain't just it. We also give you the one task that if you do it today, you will see a result in your business. It's called the GMAP Now task. Plus, we give you the psychology of the sale. All that coupled with our great interview guests.
So that's like plus.
Great guest interview.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, and of course, growmyaccountingpractice.com.
Yep. And, well, let me give you a little hint what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. Could you imagine, Ryan, if you actually tested your clients before they became clients? Like literally gave them a battery of tests to make sure they're a perfect fit for you.
Not an interview, but a test.
A test?
Right.
Do you think they would do it?
If it's not, I don't know.
You're about to find out.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah. And well, first of all, Annette Wright does do this to her clients. They love doing the test. They enjoy the engagement and
Involvement.
And she gets better clients as a result. So you're going to discover that. Now, we're going to get to that in just a minute. First, I want to do a couple more things. I want to do a little unexpected shout out to our former lacrosse coach.
Oh, yes, thank you.
You shared the news, so you wanted to share a little details to our listeners?
Yeah, it's with a heavy heart that Mike and ours and our local community here in Boonton, New Jersey, lost one of the all-time greats, Coach Dick Risk. Not only was he a family friend, but he also was my coach in high school, your coach in high school, as well as my coach in college. So it's with a heavy heart that all of us in the Boonton lacrosse community, it's weighing on of us. I mean, here's a gentleman who brought lacrosse to the state of New Jersey.
Yeah.
In essence, Boonton, a small little town here, we've had our lacrosse program for over 50 years.
Yeah.
And it's a really strong alumni community, and every year it's great to see generation after generation after generation. So we're all going to miss you, Coach, and we know you're in a better place now.
Yeah. Yeah. A huge shout out to you, Coach Risk. We miss you. We love you. I think you're listening to the show. Maybe even
he's listening to the show, calling me an effing asshole.
You're right. Saharian, Michalowicz, jeez.
Get off your ass.
You two clowns, just get to work. No, he was a phenomenal guy.
Great
And,
guy.
The nice thing was the last alumni game that we've had, hopefully they'll have it again, he was able to make it to the game and watch the game.
Right.
I think I scored a goal. Did you score a goal that game?
No, but I beat you in face-off.
Oh, that's right. I was shocked.
Don't be shocked.
I was shocked. I did not expect that at all. I was too cocky.
Right.
All right. Here's the deal. Back to the business. If you want to get free access to our monthly webinars, something we used to charge for, we only give free access to our members. We've decided to open it up because it's just too good not to give to the entire accounting and bookkeeping community. You can get it for free now, but you do have to take the first step. Send a text, GMAP is the word, GMAP, to 678-506-7543. Again, that's GMAP to 678-506-7543. And we'll get you on our free webinars. And one more thing, I do want to thank our corporate partners before we kick the show off, Ron. Do you want to do the honors?
Absolutely. Well, let's start off with a big thank you to Right Networks.
Oh, my.
Receipt Bank, Nextiva,
Oh my.
and of course, Funbox.
Yeah, so now we got our Fantastic Four.
And we'll be sharing a little bit more about these great companies later on in the show.
Talking about great company, I went out to breakfast and met with Annette Wright. Now, we had met before. I was speaking at a conference in Colorado a couple Fridays back.
Right.
And I sit down and I meet, there's like 4 or 5 entrepreneurs at the table, and Annette Wright instantly catches my attention. Just calm, cool, collected, and sharing story after story that this, it's the type of thing like you just hear the story and it's the biggest punch to the face said with the softest words, right? I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm sitting next to a genius. So I do my thing. I pull out my phone. I start taking notes down, and I grabbed it a little bit later and said, Annette, I got to interview you for GMAP. And she's like, yeah, no problem. Why do I have to interview her? Well, she's figured out a formula to interview clients, to test them before they come on board. She's the founder of OD Interiors. It was founded back in 2009 and is in Mainline, Philadelphia, beautiful part of Philadelphia. And she's an interior designer. She has an interior design studio and does projects all throughout Philadelphia and also the tri-state area up here in New Jersey and where we are. A couple of things you may not know about Annette, that she is an accomplished interior designer and that she is known for her extraordinary listening skills. Ironically, today you're going to find out how good she presents, but she's also a great listener. So,
What?
yeah, you're not listening to me. Annette, welcome to the show.
Welcome, Annette.
Hi, guys. I'm Mike. I'm Ron.
So, Annette, you must have, when you go to a customer and say, hey, let's start off this relationship with a test, I don't know how that would be received by other people, but for me, that would throw me off kilter.
It does a little bit, but I make it I lighten it up. I start laughing. I'm like, yeah, and if, you don't pass, you get kicked out immediately. So they know, of course, I'm kidding, because, of course, I want their business, hopefully, if they're the right client. But they react a little bit in shock, but I lighten it up for them and let them know it's nothing pass or fail.
Okay, so what is the concept of this test? What are you testing them about?
I'm basically testing them or trying to find out more about their personality traits. And the reason why I do this is because I use it as a tool. So if we decide it is a good fit for the job, that I know exactly the way that they think, the way that they process information, the way that they, the way that they work and how they think. So that helps me respond a little bit more in the way that they're thinking versus the way that I'm thinking everything should go. And it just makes the relationship go more smoothly.
Yeah, it's funny. I read a book years ago, and I laud the power of this book on communication. It was called The 5 Love Languages. My wife and I discovered this book and found that when I make an effort to communicate in my wife's language, so to speak, even if it's a little bit awkward for me, it resonates with her and vice versa.
Absolutely.
Do you find that by doing these personality tests that you have the ability or at least the looking glass to see how your customers need to be communicated with?
Absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly the concept of the test that I give. Because, for instance, there's 4 different colors: red, blue, green, and yellow. And, just to tell one thing about yellows, usually someone with yellow personality trait, they really like to be led. They actually like to be in communication with reds, who are very strong. So if I have a client, and I had a client who really couldn't make decisions. They were very indecisive. But as a red, well, I'm a blue, but I'm a blue-red. But with a personality trait with a red, I said, you know what? She really wants me to really push her and help her to make this decision. And that's really where her comfort zone is. So in doing that, she was able to, I said, listen, these are really your choices here. I think this is the best one, and this is the reason why. I think you should go with this. Now, I probably wouldn't do that to another red because they may resist. I would suggest it in a different way. But it really helps you help them along in the way that they're thinking or decision-making, even though it might be a little bit awkward because I'm not really a bully, but sometimes I have to use a little bullying tactics for them to make decisions.
What's the test you use? Is it a public software or what is it?
No, it's actually from, I found this test, actually, it's an author, his name is Jacob Adamo, and he wrote this great book called Full Spectrum Success, and it is actually geared towards, you can use it personally, but it's very much geared towards businesses, small businesses, and building your teams. And not only do I use the test for my clients, but I actually use the test for people that I interview to be employed here. Because, in team building, we all have to work together, a lot of hours of the day. And it's best to know how each of us are working, the strengths, the weaknesses, and, just to build that synergy amongst our team. So it's Jacob Adamo, Full Spectrum Success. You can actually get it on Amazon Kindle or just order it from Amazon. It's not one of these really thick reference books that nobody has time to read. Very simple, simplistic, and you'll be surprised at some of the explanations of the color personalities, how it really hits home. And that's what I really have found success with my clients, and when they really get into it, because when I tell them what their personality color is, 9 times out of 10, they're like, oh my gosh, that is so me. That's so my wife. That's so true. So now they feel very comfortable that I understand them. So it makes my job a lot easier. But yeah, you can get it on Amazon, anything.
Can you walk us through the colors? Like you said, there's red, blue, green, yellow.
Sure.
What does each color mean?
There's very long explanations for a couple, well, not long, but longer than probably I could read to you today. But reds, there's just a certain trait. Reds, that's a very strong color. People who are solid reds, they have a very strong personality. They're confident. They love challenges. They're driven by strong desire to win. They consider themselves to belong to society's elite. And I have to say, with each color, there are shades. There's a typical shade, there's a troublesome shade, and there's a truth shade, which we all find in just normal, evaluation of people in life. We all have our good side, our bad side, and our very, calm side. So there's the good, the bad, and the ugly about every color, but what we all try to attain is our true shade, which is the most positive color. But red, they're strong. Blue, which I am primarily a blue, very creative. They say we tend to act without thought of consequences, but people love to be around us because we make a really good time.
I'm creative. Ron, I think Ron's a red. I'm a blue. It sounds like we got the Democratic and Republican Party here. So creative. What else is? How else is my blue?
Green.
Oh, green.
Oh, green. Greens, they're highly analytical thinkers, problem solvers. They need to follow detailed plans in order to function. Greens can also, in their troublesome shade, they can also kind of be in a box where they can't really get out. If they don't follow a certain structure, their heads blow off, things like that. But they can be very structured. But then again, greens, you always want a green on your team because they have the organizational thing down. So you really always want a green on your team. Or, with a client, if you have a green as a client, you better make sure you have your organizational thing down because they are going to be on your phone and your email checking on you every day to make sure everything is going as planned. The yellows, they're kind of emotional. They avoid conflict, but they're friendly, loyal. They usually are the people who can draw a group together. They're very team oriented. They're very sensitive. So that's also a color that, if you're building this with this personality test, a team for your business, they're really good to have on your team because they kind of, center everyone. But as a client, sometimes, the troublesome part of a yellow, they're very indecisive. They can be indecisive. So you have to really learn how to work with a person like that and make them feel comfortable with making decisions. And it's okay to, take a leap outside of, your box. So it's just very good. I found it so valuable. My clients love taking this test once I explain to them what it means, especially couples. They just think it's so funny and they're like, oh my gosh, yes, that's him, that's my husband, or that's her, that's my wife. So it's very valuable to my business.
And what would be an example of a question that would, determine the color?
Well, the questions actually, they're all descriptions. So they're not really formed as questions. It's about, it's a questionnaire of about, it says not questions, but they're descriptions. About 15 descriptions in 15 line items. And out of 4 descriptions, you have to choose what best and most honestly describes you, describes your personality. And you can only choose one. It can't be 2. It can't be, nothing applies to me. If you don't think it applies, you have to choose. If somebody, holding you at gunpoint, you have to make a choice. You have to choose one description out of the one line item. And then what I do is at the end, you just tally up a score, and then how they score in each color category, that's their strongest color personality. And you can have a hybrid of color. You can be a blue-green or a blue-red, but there is really one main color. But I do have to say, I actually did test someone who was even in all of the colors. They got the same score in all of the colors, which was really odd. So we had to, we had to contact Jacob and actually ask him, and they said, you know what, that's a very well-rounded person. So they're probably going to be a really great client or a great employee because they have a piece of every color. So that was pretty interesting.
That is.
So I presume customers receive this actually well, because you gave a little insight there, Annette. You said when customers are doing this test, they're getting insights themselves.
Yes.
So clearly you're giving them the results of their own test.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes it's good because then they can find themselves when we may be having a challenge in a decision, and they say, oh, you know what, I'm in my box. You know, I guess, what am I in? A green? Yes, I'm in a box. Okay, that's fine. Let's just do it. I'm going to get out of my comfort zone and just do it. So they often find themselves, you know, in that test for, you know, making their own, you know, identification, I guess.
Now, you're in the design industry, and clearly the dialogue with the customers is very important because there's a creative art being done here. You're changing someone's physical space.
Yes.
You know, our listeners are accountants and bookkeepers. It's a very analytical driven space. It's the numbers. How do you tell customers you're going to do this test, and do you believe that a personality test translates to more than just the creative space, or maybe not?
Your first question, how do I tell them? I just say it. I mean, I just get it right out because they're already, honestly, one of the biggest, what I've read in studies, one of the biggest fears that people have of interior designers is that they're not going to listen. And so immediately I just tell them, I say, hey, I'm going to give you a test. And, you know, I make the little joke about kicking them out, but I said, but you know what? This test is actually a tool that I use to help me better understand and better listen to what your needs really are. Because people always say that. They're like, you know, I always think interior designers are going to come in and just take over and I really won't have any say. And with that realization, that's one of the reasons why I think this test is so great too, because they really do understand that it's about them. It's not about me. And I need to listen and I need to understand to what their needs are, because this is a very personal thing. And also I think that can translate into any business, especially, you know, dealing with numbers in accounting. Now, you want to talk about something daunting to, you know, the lay person who doesn't deal with numbers, who's not in an accounting practice. They really want to have a sense that you understand, because we're looking at it from the side of our businesses, not just the numbers. And if they can get an idea of how you think, it might help better to understand why we made certain decisions, or they're looking at our files and you can't understand what the heck I've done. But you say, oh, you know what? I can see them doing that because they kind of think like a blue, or they think like a red, and maybe that's what they were trying to get done here. And you can kind of straighten out challenges and issues because you're understanding how a person operates. It's not, you know, it's not just a space. It's not just a number. It's a person. It's an actual person behind all of that.
Yeah, and communication is key, right?
Yeah.
In any industry,
Absolutely.
maybe even more so in accounting and bookkeeping, because it's very visceral. When the accountant or the client sees numbers they don't want to see,
Yes.
Right.
you know, they can get anxious.
Well, you know, and there's a huge issue out there that the creative folks have been saying for many years, which is my accountant doesn't get me. They don't understand. They don't.
Yeah.
Right, because accountants, you know, when I was going through these colors with you, I'm like, oh my God, they're so green. Isn't that funny? Like, green's the color of money, at least in the U.S., and they're analytical, they're structured.
Right.
Right.
But they're communicating with more traditional entrepreneurs, which are reds, a combination of reds and blues more, I think.
I mean, think about the service differentiator if you are primarily working with creatives, that you're able to, you know, do this type of analysis with them. They're going to be floored by it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that would be amazing for someone to take that on, because I know, being a creative, you know, the accounting portion is always just so daunting to me. But if I actually had someone who would just, I felt like, well, he's actually trying to understand my business and the way I think and why I do this crazy stuff that I do that I'm not supposed to, but that someone's actually trying to tune in to understand your business better. And with that, they have to understand the person behind the business a little bit better.
So my jaw basically dropped. We're eating breakfast together. I had like 6 servings of eggs, and that's like, what is going on here?
And oatmeal.
And oatmeal.
Amazing.
I'm like, Annette, I run and work out like relentlessly, and and I'm hyper. So my metabolism, I gotta keep eating. If I don't eat, I'm dead.
I saw it first.
You saw it firsthand, right?
Oh, man, running across that room, one end to the other. I was tired watching you.
Oh yeah, at the event itself, I ran, and I actually had a foot cramp. I was actually struggling to run. That was not top speed, but my jaw dropped and some eggs fell out.
You do look funny when you run, though.
I do.
You still haven't learned
I have
how
a
to run
weird
right.
gait, but I can run fast.
Right.
Awkwardly. So, Annette, you were sharing a story about you went to a meeting. It was a husband and wife looking to redesign the room. And in my mind, I picture, okay, now I have this client where it's a partnership. It's a husband and wife or 2 business partners like Ron and me. And the wife, arms open, loves what you're doing, engaged as heck. Husband, arms crossed, foot tapping on the floor, really not intrigued, but you were able to navigate around that. Tell us that story of how you use kind of these colors to break through with that relationship.
Well, I knew he was very much a red. And he was, a successful business owner of a family business. And she was much more of a blue, creative, very open, sort of fly by the seat of her pants, whatever makes me happy, I'll let you know and let's keep it moving. So I knew that he was going to be the nut to crack because he was just very skeptical that, the investment that she wanted to make into the design of their already beautiful home, whether it was really going to be worth it and if I could actually do something that he hadn't seen because he's very well traveled as well. And so I really kind of zeroed in without, discounting what was important to her. I make, very clear lists of my evaluation as I'm going through the as we call it, the interview process. So
Right.
he just kind of, once I got to the presentation, I was like, this is what he's looking for. And I know in his color, I have to really get him. So once we got to the presentation and I knew that I had pulled in a lot of the elements that were important to him and especially things that I felt like he had not seen or experienced before, but it was right in the wheelhouse of how he described he wanted their space and their environment to be. So he's sitting there with his arms crossed, like, oh my gosh, when is this going to be over? And as soon as I turned, because for them I actually used a design board, a physical design board, not something online. And once I turned the board around and he saw what the presentation was, immediately the arms uncrossed, the elbows went on the knees, the chin went on the hands, and he was intently studying this design. And I was like, I got you. I said that internally, not outside.
Yeah. I got you, baby. I got you.
Get that checkbook out.
And it was a really great experience because it wasn't just about me doing a great design, which it was, but I knew I had listened to what he told me. I knew I had listened to what she told me. And then I also work with them within their color personality so they can understand, the process. And the final presentation, he said to me, you know what, I have to say, I'm floored. This is really great. And I was just like,
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hallelujah.
It's almost like you're getting the answers to the test.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We actually have a recording. I don't know, Annette, if you knew this. We had our recorder down there. When you presented that sheet, that design, we got him on tape. Here's his response.
Oh, my.
That was him. Oh, my gosh.
That was him. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now, so you were able to speak to his wants, but really it wasn't that design alone. That was the end deliverable. Right. It was the fact you were listening to him and also knew his color in advance and were able to design to his desires and her desires, right?
Yeah, it's a good feeling. Yeah, it's a good feeling to be able to, like you said, have have the answers to the test before it's over. It's a great film.
Yeah.
To know that you're.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, tell me, you've also been able to translate this to your employees, and we were talking about, at breakfast, how you're really getting quality employees. Tell us how you use this with your colleagues and get great talent on board.
Well, I also, just besides the questionnaire for that particular job description, whether it's design assistant or administrative assistant or, design director, things like that, there are questions that speak to just, the skill set, which you obviously need. Personality test is not going to give you whether this person has that type of skill. But what it does do is let you know what type of person you have on your team and whether they can fulfill that role as you see it. I need my administrative assistant to be very strong, to be very motivated, a self-starter. So if I'm interviewing someone who is a color where that is a challenge in their troublesome shade, I'm going to really evaluate that. Now, if their skill set is kind of out the roof, there may be kind of some exception I might take to certain things. But clearly, if I'm talking about someone who is a really strong yellow, who has a problem making decisions, they won't be a fit for a certain position. So I won't hire a person in that position. I actually interviewed one person, and they were clearly just a strong yellow. But it was terrible because I felt bad because they had such enthusiasm for the position, and they really, felt like they could, do well, but it wasn't going to be a good fit because at the end of the day, I have to make sure when I'm running out of here at 100 miles an hour to a client, they can hold down the fort back here when I'm not around. So I'm trying to get a piece of every color, a green to really be structured. I have a yellow, I have a red, I have a blue. So I'm getting there to the perfect, color personality circle because everybody has a true in their shade that is a very valuable asset to any business.
Now, Annette, you mentioned that you interviewed that lady. She was very passionate about it. She wanted the job, but you knew, based upon the findings of the report, that she wasn't right. Did you ever not follow it and say, you know what?
I was thinking.
Let me
I was thinking
give
the
this.
exact same thing.
You're being sold on the interview.
Yeah. Let's see. Did I ever not follow it? Honestly.
And hired somebody and they're like, the report was right.
No. Actually, no. I haven't. I actually haven't. I can't say that I have. Now, I've still gotten a dud or two.
Yeah.
Not
don't know
everything.
whether they took some golden seal to suppress the color that I didn't want to see, but it was just kind of like, wow, where did that come from? But that's the thing. It's not an exact science, but it is a great tool. People you come into an interview one day, you're dressed one way, you talk another way, come into a second interview a month later, you might have had some serious personal issues going on, and your whole demeanor and everything that you're thinking is different. So it's not going to say that I'm not going to, it's going to give me the right person all of the time. But I'm pretty confident that it has been pretty accurate in leading me down the path where I think, I'm making a good decision about this person. So I haven't done that and went astray. No, not yet.
So we've talked about interviewing your clients. I love it. You can communicate better. We've talked about interviewing your employee. Testing your employees. What about testing yourself? Have you found advantages of knowing your own color?
Absolutely. In fact, after I give the test to my clients and to my employees, I talk to them about what color I am. And I said, this is how I process information. This is my personality color. This is the way I think. And I'm a pretty true blue. My next color is red, but my blue is so strong it almost outshines red. But I absolutely know myself within my color. And even as I'm making decisions, and if I'm having like a really screwy day and I'm like, why is everything going wrong? And I'm like, oh, okay, because I'm doing it this way, because that's my color personality. I need to tap into something else because that's in my troublesome shade. And I really shouldn't be reaching for that in my, in this day, because it's really turning into crap. So yeah, it absolutely helps me a lot to understand myself better and for my employees and my clients to understand me as well.
So I was poking around the internet while we're talking, and I found the full spectrum test.
Mm-hmm.
It looks, maybe I misunderstand this, but Annette, it looks like it's available for free.
Oh, yeah. I believe it's available for free on Jacob's website. But it's a whole book that you really do need to read to get more insight, because you'll get, I think, a little summary of the colors, but it's really great and insightful to read just the full spectrum of the personality colors and how you can use it within your business and your personal life. So there's more to it, but yeah, they kind of let you take the test online, I believe, for free.
Yeah, so that's what it looks like. It says you take this test and it'll come out with the full personality palette.
Take it.
Yeah.
I will, but we both got to take it.
I'm not taking it.
I think he's coming
It'll give us our full personality palette.
Yeah.
And then, so you can do these tests with your clients for free. And then I'm hearing you just need the book to interpret what you found.
Yes.
And do people, by the way, you find when you're working with clients, do they ever bounce around between colors? I mean, is there ever inconsistencies, or is this kind of tried and true from your experience?
I mean, I definitely think, I probably wouldn't call them inconsistencies, but I definitely think they can bounce around from color to color. Because I think Jacob has actually come out with a subsequent book that talks about the hybrid of colors. How you can be more than one color. You may be one color very strong, but you have another color in there too, swirling around. So it's more or less when a client kind of does something out of the character of what I'm understanding what their color is, then I actually go back to, because I keep their results in their file. And I will go back to the file and say, oh, that's right. They were a 9 in red, but they are an 8 in yellow. So that will come to the surface very quickly when they're doing something a little bit out of character of what I'm expecting with the red. I'm like, oh, their yellow's coming through. Okay.
And they have a red-headed child? Orange-headed child.
There you go. Or maybe green-headed.
Yes.
Have you found, as you've been doing this, different results than actually? Let me scratch that. Was there a time that you didn't do this in your business, that you didn't test people?
Yes, there was. There was absolutely.
Okay, and that's what I wanted to now know is the comparative. Have you found that since you've been doing this, that you are better able to serve your clients the way they need to be served, aka make your business more profitable?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Because when you can anticipate needs and desires and visions and even, attitudes and why someone is, responding in a way that may be even negative, it helps you kind of head those things off. And, again, back to having the answers of the test before you finish the test, it really translates into a more successful relationship. And interior design, that translates into a successful project. And a successful project translates into getting paid for it and happily getting paid for it, and then referring you to other clients and to basically about the experience, And so it adds to everything. It just, one on top of the other, really translates into just a better, more successful, smooth project. And people just really want to know that you listen, because you're coming into their very personal space and environment, and they don't want to just write you a check and they're like, well, that sucked, but
Right.
It absolutely does. I've definitely seen a difference even in the way that I can structure my day and my business, because I know what I'm dealing with.
Have people flat out refused to take the test?
No, absolutely not.
Great.
When do you tell your customers to take the test? You wait till there's a check in hand and say, okay, now you're engaged. First step is take the test. Or do you even do it before you start writing up a proposal?
Oh, way before. Actually, I had them take the test at our first meeting. And this is something else I changed a couple of years ago. I used to meet clients in their homes. for our first meeting. I don't do that anymore because there's a lot of distraction in the space, even though that is that's the matter at hand. We want to see how we can transform a space or assist in, changing a space. But I found when I go in their homes, there's like phones ringing, dogs barking. Then they want to show me the basement that they're going to do in 5 years, but we're only here to do the bathroom. I mean, it's so many distractions. So I actually have changed my program, and clients come to my studio and we meet in what I said, we're going to have a speed date and I'm going to give you a quiz. So that's what it is to find out, are you comfortable with me? Do you like me? Am I comfortable with you? Do I like you? Because I can also say I'm not interested. So they come to my studio. We just talk. We don't necessarily have to talk about the project. I talk about their life and, their family and different things. And then, I say, but I want to give you a test. And, they chuckle, what kind of test? But I have not had anybody refuse, but that's how I kind of present it. And to be honest, I guess if somebody did refuse, I might think they're a little bit of a maniac, so I might say no anyway. So,
well, if you said
Right.
we're going to do a test, and you're like, what kind of test? And you're like, well, it's a breathalyzer. I'm sure you're not boosted up.
right.
Blood test.
Received really well, really well.
These insights have been phenomenal, and they definitely translate. You talked about you're accessing people's intimate space. As an interior designer, their homes. As an accountant or bookkeeper, you're accessing their most intimate space, which is their financials, their book. Mm-hmm. So this has been very powerful. Annette, where can our listeners learn more about you and maybe find the most amazing interior designer out there?
They can go to www.odinteriorsgroup.com, and that's where you can find me and my contact information. You can email me or give me a call, and we can have a chat. And if you want an amazing experience, just connect.
But
Great.
you're going to take the test.
Yeah, right. You have to take the test.
Yep.
All right, Annette,
Love
thank
it.
you so much for joining us
Yes,
today.
thank you. Nice job.
Thank
Good
you,
job.
Ron. Thanks.
Take care. So we'll have Annette's links in our show notes. Jacob Adamo's test we're also going to have up there as a link so you can check it out and download it. Definitely go on Amazon, get his book, and reach out to Annette. I think there's stuff to be learned here, and who knows, maybe we'll come out with an interior designer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, here's the dealio, my friends. In a moment, we are going to recap what we learned. That's the summary section. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Robbie, that's my brother.
Robbie
Kenobi.
Your brother. Yeah, Robbie Kenobi is going to share the psychology of the sale. I got a GMAP Now task. But first, I want to thank Right Networks. Right Networks is our newest corporate partner.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have an accounting system, a desktop-based accounting system that your clients love, how long have you been trying to dial in, remote connect, all that stuff? It's a disaster, right? Maybe try to move to your offices so you can manage it. Now they can't connect. Right Networks puts any app, any of those ancient but powerful apps you want on the web instantly. So you can become a web-based, in-the-cloud accounting provider instantaneously with Right Networks.
Wow. Awesome.
You want to pick one?
Yeah, Receipt Bank.
Oh!
The ultimate productivity saving app that's already in the cloud. And it's not just for receipt capture, which is great, but just the way you'll be able to share with your customers this fine tool that will make their lives a lot easier.
Yeah, there's a lot of functionality in what you can scan, capture, store, and link automatically. Nextiva voice over IP phone system. I shouldn't say a voice over IP phone system. It's the voice over IP phone system. They're the best. We've been using them in-house ever since the inception of our business and well before. And your clients may want to use them too, or you. Why not get a high-end phone system at a low-end cost?
And you know what? It was funny. When we were doing our global calls, the phones all dropped. It wasn't the phones.
No, it was
The internet.
Yeah, it wasn't even the internet. It was the
Power.
provider of our phone conferencing, which is actually not Nextiva.
Right.
It's an online app. The app basically shorted out.
Unbelievable.
We had to do a reset.
Yeah.
But
it's
Nextiva plugged right through.
awesome. And let's not forget the ultimate cash flow accelerator, Fundabox.
Oh my God, Ron. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, maybe you're waiting on some receivables from your customers. Maybe they're out a little late and you might be short of making payroll. Reach out to Funbox. They'll accelerate that cash, get that into your pocket so you can make payroll, and you're still going to be following up with those people that you need the money from.
That was one of the Fun Box reps calling, "Where's my money? Where's my money?"
Actually, they don't do that.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. They don't touch your clients. They don't call your clients. They
No.
don't invoice your clients at all.
Which is truly is
They're
true
behind
and
the
is the
scenes.
best part.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ron. Why don't we go into what we learned just now?
Yeah, a lot. And really, when you first proposed having a net, I'm like, really? And then after you shared with me prior and listening to that, makes all the sense in the world. Because if you can understand how your customers think, you can learn more about how they operate, and you can communicate better. You can persuade them. You can work with them, and it's a much fruitful engagement.
Yeah, it's definitely much more fruitful. I like to define the role of what you want prior to the call, and what you can do now. And when I say prior, I'm sorry. Let me rewind. I'm thinking this was with the employees. Define the role you want for your employees. So when you're doing a test with your employees, say, "I need a green to do this,"
Yeah.
right? And if you get someone that's in red, you know they're not a color match, and you have to have the discipline of not pursuing that.
And it's great backup because, sales and hiring salespeople, hiring people in general, the interview is the honeymoon. And some people are good at faking it.
Yeah,
quite
exactly.
honestly. So having this little tool here, this free tool,
Yeah.
that'll give you a quick snapshot and let you know
Yeah.
whether or not.
And I think, too, so I consider myself blue with a slight toward red. I consider you a red with a slight toward blue. And I think we naturally connect with people that are like us. So I naturally like you because of your personality.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. But if you're a yellow, there might not be that natural fit. But ironically, for the role I need to may need to hire, it may be a yellow. So it may be counterintuitive to what you feel.
We both
right?
need greens.
We definitely do. Yeah. Which I think Billy Ann is a little bit green.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Green, blue. Like she's,
Yeah.
so much what we need. The other thing I learned was keep the results on file. Like when you talk with a client and you get their color, I think we say, "Oh, great," and now I know how to deal with them, and then we kind of ignore
Then
it.
you don't use it.
Yeah, we don't revisit
You don't use
it.
the tool, right.
So, and it was the simplest thing, but Annette just flippantly says, I just keep it on file for life.
Keep it on their client profile sheet.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, or in your CRM.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I like that. And the last thing is the great tip I think she shared was that customers get insights on themselves, so they're anticipating they're going to get results of something that will give them insights on themselves, and therefore they want to do it. Because you asked, does everyone do it? And she said, yeah. And the reason is, I think, because they're getting insights on themselves.
Can you imagine you and Krista going to, Keith and Keith saying, "Hey, I'd like you guys to take this test." You guys would have a fun time doing it,
Oh my God, I'd love to.
right?
I got to tell you just real quick. Me and Krista we went to a marriage counselor, but not a marriage counselor like that's practicing, but one who was practicing to become a marriage counselor.
Really?
When we went to Hawaii where her father lives, he teaches marriage counselors. So they put us in a room. And they said, "Would you be willing?"
This is the guy that's been on 5 marriages himself.
No.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, yeah, no, not him. He's a marriage counselor and a psychologist. So he teaches marriage counselors. He brought us in a room. It's actually 3 people that interviewed us, and they went through this stuff. At the end, we had to give critical feedback, and they were like all shaken up. They're like, "Oh, you can't give me critical feedback." It was the most bizarre thing in the world. We gave critical feedback to students who were seeking critical feedback, and then were offended in defending what feedback they were getting. And it wasn't even like bad stuff.
Right.
It's just, "Hey, when you said this, let me tell you the thoughts that are going through my mind that maybe wasn't what you wanted." And you're like, "Whoa." So the marriage counselors complained about me and Krista. It was hysterical. In Hawaii.
I don't think they're going to be very good.
Yeah, I hope they're
in
not
the
listening to this.
long
I hope they get over that
Right.
and take some criticism.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a total divergence.
Yeah.
I want the most important thing of the day, and this is what it is. It's the psychology of the sale.
Oh, absolutely. And what we're going to talk about today is the conformance principle. Basically, we are driven to conform to rules. So, this rule, we follow rules, okay? But here's the problem. Not everybody does all the time. Workflow rules. Sometimes staff breaks them for any number of reasons, right? As well as there's rules in social groups. There's rules in norms, company rules, club rules, national laws, all sorts of different rules. Some may be written, some may not. But knowing that people conform to rules, what can you do for your accounting practice? Well, you can use this principle by either directing people to follow the rules that you set or by taking control of the rules themselves, having them have input into what these rules are that suit your purpose. So, in essence, what you want to do is take a look at some of your workflow rules, your systems, your processes. Meet with your team, empower them. What rules are currently working? Which ones are no longer relevant? Empower your team to work to determine and create the rules that suit your company's needs. Not quite a boom, though, huh? Just an
No, you don't. We needed a sound effect to end yours because we always kick into a different sound effect right out of yours. I don't know if it's really fair because it's such a good one. It's so good.
Forget about me. Forget about Obi. Get right into the GMAP. Do it now, Task. You know what? Whenever we argue, Mike, and whenever we're butting heads, we just got to say, you know what? Time out and play this.
We should. Next time we get into a dispute. That's funny. We'll start
It
dancing.
does. It both puts smiles on our face.
It does. It's the best song ever.
Give it to us.
It's real simple, and we already said how to do it. I mean, it's just 2 words or 3 words. It's 4 words. The test now. That's it. Test yourself. That's the big mistake. We see these opportunities to improve our clients, to learn more on them, learn more about our employees, and we forget ourselves. So here's the deal. The simplest GMAP Now task ever. Just go to the link. It's in the show notes, and take the test for yourself now. Mm-hmm. Once you believe and you see what it does for you, the insights you get for yourself, then you'll know the insights you can get for your clients.
Awesome.
All right.
Who do you think is the most well-rounded color person in our company? Who do you think is going to get it?
Most well-rounded color.
You're going to have all the colors.
That's a good one. I got to think about it. I want to say maybe Scalise.
Right?
Maybe Scalise, right?
Right.
Yeah. Because you don't know what's ever coming. Like, you just do not know what's coming from the Hawaiian lumberjack.
And don't forget, Billy Ann, her new nickname, B.A.
Baracus. I'm liking that.
She pities the fool that doesn't implement profit first in their business.
It's growing on me. At first, I'm like, I don't know. I like it more and more every single day. Well, talking about liking it more, we got to go see Billy Ann. She's waiting outside for us to talk with her. So let's get out of here, Ron.
Yep. Thank you very much. And, of course, I want to thank you, listeners, for joining us today. You can review us on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn Radio. We would love to get your 5-star ratings, but your feedback is most important.
Yeah, the feedback is what we want. And listen, if it's a 5-star feedback, we'll take it. If it's a 4-star, we'll take it. If it's a 1-star, we'll take it. But we're blues and reds, so we'll be in pain. But we'll take it. Be honest, we want to get your feedback. Here's the deal. ProfitCon is right around the corner. It's in less, I think it's about 14 days or so, 20 days out. I think about 20 days out. So you can still get your ticket. Go to ProfitCon.us. If you're an accountant or bookkeeper or coach, if you care about driving profitability for clients, you got to be at the only conference in the world dedicated to profitability. That's ProfitCon.us. Go there now, get your ticket. By the way, you can get it for $7.99. That is a discount off of a $1,000 ticket. So get it now. It's well worth the investment. And go to ProfitFirstProfessionals.com because we are looking for the most elite providers out there. I'm not saying that you are charging the most to your clients. I'm not saying you're the biggest accounting or bookkeeping firm. What I'm saying is the most elite. I mean, you care about your customers more than the competitors.
Passionate.
And if you do, if you're more passionate about your clients than your competitors, we want to talk with you because we have a tool of the century. It's called Profit First, and we can drive profitability in your clients' businesses. And if you care about them, that's what you'll do. So go to ProfitFirstProfessionals.com right now, click on Become, fill out the form, and we'll start the conversation.
Awesome.
Okay. All right, Ron. I'll see you next week.
All right.
Later.
See ya.
Over and out.